Okay, so it's like UNN Live Take Two.
Please pardon our
I
technical
think so.
difficulties.
Let's see how it goes. I have high hopes. Okay, so we tried this once, got about 2 minutes of programming in, and ta-da, here we are again.
Yeah, possibly the best 2 minutes of programming in internet history. Unfortunately, it just right out.
I don't know. I mean, it did archive, I'm sure. So I don't want to lie to them. They'll figure out.
2 minutes, 5 views on YouTube.
Well, that's excellent. Okay, so anyway, we're here at Infinity Flux in Hickson.
Of the Tennessee.
For like the first time in about a month.
Yes.
Last time we did a show, we did it at Dread Hollow, and that was interesting to say the least.
That's amazing.
I still haven't gone to any kind of haunted house this year, and I don't think I will.
Yeah, I don't go to haunted houses. I just really liked.
Well, it's a lack of funds, or I'd probably be dragging money.
Oh, I don't like to be scared. But it was really cool to see all the work that goes into
yeah,
it, and just the passion they have for it. Like, I get excited for people. It might not be something I like to go.
At the one down in Rome last weekend, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, we did Gates of Misery in Rome this past weekend. Friday night.
Saturday night we did the ghost hunt. Friday night, remember? Well, Lindsay was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we did Ghost Hunt Friday night, Gates of Misery down in Rome, Georgia, Saturday night, and then we did Dread Hollow a week before that. So yeah, there was like lots of stuff going on. Halloween, it's just been a busy couple of weeks.
It's the greatest time of the year.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. And so do you have like a costume lined up?
I do, actually. I'm going to be Raven from Teen Titans.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have I seen that?
No, I'm putting it together currently.
Somebody, I think maybe like a cosplay I saw a
I'm
week
sure.
or two.
Like, that's one of the reasons I'm going with Raven is because it's easy stuff to gather.
Well, it's like, to begin with, like I even mentioned it on the air a couple of weeks ago. I was planning on doing Farva from Super Troopers. Well, then I was like, it's something that I'll probably never wear again. I would rather wear something that, like financially makes sense. I don't want to do a one-off costume. I want to do something I can do over and over. And I didn't really want to shave the beard. And I was
That's
like,
fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah, and so then it was like, okay, I want to do Rick from Rick and Morty. And I was going to have Joseph dress up as Morty. And so then I realized I would have to shave. And about the time I made that plan, I had to have like a $400 brake job done on my truck. So, like, financially that went out the window. So now I'm going to get the best of both worlds. And I'm going to do Negan again.
Well, there you go.
So,
You're ready.
it works.
You've got that.
I don't have to shave.
Yeah.
And I've already got it ready to roll. And it's starting to get cold. So that jacket will come in handy.
Yes. That is a bonus to the Raven costume. It's, long sleeve, thick turtleneck, leotard thing, and then nice thick tights and boots, and then of course the cape is toasty. So
You got anything lined up for like parties or gatherings or debauchery?
not wholeheartedly. Let's see, we've got D&D with the teenagers at the library on that Saturday.
Okay.
And then I believe the fella is supposed to be playing in a Minor Threat cover band. I don't know, some kind of cover band thing on Sunday night, the 29th. So I'll go to that. I'll probably wear a costume. I don't know that you're supposed to, but I will. And then at work, we always get to wear costumes for Halloween. Me and the 2 to 3 other people who choose to take advantage of that. And then I've got my office all decorated.
Okay.
It's really cool. So, but yeah, no like swinging parties or anything.
What do we have, the 28th? We're going to a party that night. And then actually on the 28th, the Saturday before, we're going to be here from 12 to 2, broadcasting during the Halloween Comic Fest. Yes, Comic Fest.
Yeah. And I can swing by for that because the
hey.
library doesn't start until 2:30.
chances are I'll probably be dressed up for it too.
Yeah, I figure I'll dress up for the kids. I mean,
Also-
not for them, but for me. But
like
as
depending on how cold it is, I'm not like if it's 85, 90 degrees out, I'm not dressing up in full black jacket and everything else.
I'm sure he has other outfits that are weather appropriate, right? I don't know.
No.
I don't watch it.
But, you know, he has the red scarf
Yeah,
that
his little
goes under the
ascot
jacket.
thing.
That's hot. Now you could take it off, and he still
Oh,
sometimes,
like this? This is how he dresses here?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. My Walking Dead shirt's on.
okay.
So yeah, he has that. Well, wearing that thing, you're sweating your butt off. And so there are scenes in the show where he doesn't have it. It's just the white T-shirt under. That's a lot more comfortable. I found out. Well, didn't I wear it like that at Wizard World one day or something like that, half the day?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, we got that going on. Trying to think of. I heard, like I was listening to the radio on the way home this morning, one of the local morning shows, and the people, well, not local, it's a syndicated show on a local station,
Right.
but one of the people, they were on there talking about the, Channing Tatum is they finally are supposed to be getting, like, Valentine's Day next year, the Gambit movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Or is it next year or is it 2019? I don't know. It seems like if they're just now working on it, Valentine's Day next year would be a little soon. But anyway, they were like, oh yeah, Channing Tatum's going to be in the new Gambit movie. That's going to be...
Yeah, we talked about that one week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, see, they were, not only were they a little bit behind, but they said that Gambit was an Avenger when he's X-Men. Come on, tell me.
I thought they couldn't cross those.
They can't. They got it wrong.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
said
say, that's why I was like, wait a second.
I was like, oh, maybe they think
these
that,
two shall never meet. That's
maybe
what
they
I
think
thought.
comic books are automatically Avengers. Like maybe they think Batman, Superman are Avengers. Justice League, oh, that's an offshoot of the Avengers, right?
Is that like being from Georgia and immediately people are like, so you live close to Atlanta? There's, the rest
Yeah,
of
we go there all the time.
city, or the state rather, but so same thing with people I guess that don't know comic books.
Yeah,
so, the one thing, it must all be that one thing. I don't know.
I mean, I go to Atlanta every day. And
Yeah, I mean, everywhere is 15 minutes from Atlanta in Georgia.
I mean, how many dozens of Braves games have you been to this year?
All of the dozens,
Okay.
millions of them this year.
But yeah, we've got that. Speaking of Marvel movies, I wish I would have thought to put the picture up on the screen, but they actually showed Josh Brolin as Cable.
Yeah, I saw a lot of pictures of that today actually, and apparently just playing that role literally kicked his butt. Like,
Yeah.
he got hurt. So go Josh Brolin for
I was
really doing it.
very, very impressed with the look of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Josh Brolin, I didn't, because he's Thanos in the Avengers films, and then they're gonna have him as Cable in this, and everybody always thought that the dude, the older guy, the military, dude from Avatar, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The dude with the short gray hair, and he was already, had like the Bionic look in that movie, and they were like, God, they just take that and put it in Deadpool, and he would be Cable. But he pulled it off. He got buffed up.
It looks like it, yeah.
You familiar with Cable at all in the comics? A little bit.
Little, like it. Yeah. I mean, I never really got super into Deadpool and that whole world, and no, I don't. I know who it is, but I don't know.
But they did a good job. The bionic arm, and I mean, you don't really have to work hard to make Cable look good. You really don't. I mean, just get you a buffed up dude with scars on him, white hair, and a silver arm, and
Hot damn.
so
Beat him up a little bit. Yeah,
I'm assuming you saved all the stuff we're supposed to talk about tonight, because I don't have it.
All right, well,
Remember, while she's pulling it up, that you can do our legacy tokens, our kind of rewards program for watching. So.
yeah. So stay tuned to get all those points. So the nice thing about me having the list is I also get to hold the show a little bit hostage while I go through my stuff first. So yay. All right, so as I would think everybody has figured out by now, I loved tabletop game,
I had no idea.
right? So I'm a DM. I'm sure we've all figured that out. So I came up with something for just a little tokeny thing for my players for the current campaign that we're running. Look at the tiny little book I made. It's a little...
How'd you...
Oh, that is so tiny.
Like, that is a real, like, functioning book.
This is a little bitty... it's not going to focus, but
Yeah.
it's a teeny weeny little Volo's Guide to Monsters, because you can get this in the campaign that we're running. So
I don't
if
think
get
they
it-
can actually hear you. I'll probably...
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Little bitty Volo's Guide to Monsters. So in the campaign, the players can purchase this, and it's an actual book that you can buy as a human outside the game. Sorry, get down here. But so to kind of keep track of who bought it and who didn't, I mean, these little books, and they're blank inside, so the players can put things in them if they want or not. But this is
How would you actually do that? I mean, I'm sure with a pen, but...
very carefully. But this is like the prototype, so I'm going to try to make them even fancier next time. So I'm excited about that.
How in the world do you do that? Like, how do you bind it together?
Well, actually, that part, because this is just the prototype, I actually found little dollhouse books and made the little jacket for them.
Okay.
But I am going to attempt to shrink the actual book down on like thin vellum paper and see if I can bind it into a teeny little book
Holy crap.
for fun. So I was excited. I just wanted to share that because
Yeah, that's actually
there's
kind of
any
neat.
other DMs out there. It's a really simple, cute, and still game functional thing to have. And it, I made 8 of them for like $3, so can't beat that. All right, and this month it is the 30th anniversary of The Princess Bride. Did you know that?
I know they were doing, like,
Do you-
theater screenings.
Do you know who got to go see it in the theater on Sunday?
Oh, cool.
I totally did. It was amazing. Like, of course, it's an amazing movie anyway, but actually getting to see it on the big screen, because I didn't get to see it on the screen when I was a kid. So
I've never seen it all the way through. No, look. I mean,
it's okay. I still like it.
here's the thing. I get, like, my favorite part of the movie is the part at the beginning where the kid's playing video games. I watched that movie, and I actually sat down sometime in the last couple of months. It was on Amazon, Netflix, something.
Yeah.
And I got on there, and I attempted to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it to the part where the two dudes were sword fighting
It's a good
up
part.
on, like,
Yeah.
the cliff.
Uh-huh.
And at that point, I was like,
I don't like fun, action, well-written stories. I will turn this off. How
I just,
dare this be wonderful? I can't stand
I
it.
mean, I was looking at it, and my first thought was,
This
why
was
is
made
this?
in the 80s, so I should...
No, it was okay, and I love many 80s movies, but my first thought was, why is this widely recognized as, like, one of the all-time greats?
Well, you didn't make it all the way through, so you don't know.
Ah,
So
crap.
good. All right. Another thing that I'm very excited about,
How much more of the movie was left?
that was maybe a third of the way in. Ish.
Okay.
We've
I
got a
have it
bit.
on VHS, so.
All right.
Oh, yeah, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Finally, the Tick comic book has been released. It was delayed. This is the first issue.
When did that happen?
It was in the past week or so, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. We haven't been here in a couple of weeks, so I just got it out of my pull box today. So I'm crazy excited. Jason of Infinity Flux said he read it and it's wonderful, and he was super excited about it too. I've only read the first page, but so exciting.
Well, if it's anything like the original Fox cartoon, it's probably one of the best things to ever be put out.
So you should come down here and get your copy, because it's going to be great. Other things. Jason wanted me to mention that Doomsday Clock comes out on 11/22, and they're going to do a midnight-ish release of it on 11/21, the date.
I know, I've got to
the time-
work the day it comes out, so I can't come.
The actual release that he's going to do is at 11:59, because that's when the Doomsday Clock is set. So it's going to be fun. And he says they're going to have variant covers and like all the things. And there was one that he described to me with Rorschach's mask, and it's got like the different superheroes instead of just like blotches. It has their symbols, and he said it was like one of the most. Well, he didn't say.
Is there going to be a 3D cover to that?
He would. Well, unfortunately, he was telling me about it when I didn't have a pen ready, so he may have said that. I was trying really hard to remember everything, but as we all know, the Adderall wears off at 6. So, other things. All right.
I'm looking that up, by the way.
All right. Well, you guys have heard me talk about Starfinder before. It's Pazio's Pathfinder in space. That is now their fastest selling and growing product to date, right? And there's gonna Kickstarter for the minis. If you're into 7th Sea, which is another tabletop RPG, which is super fun, Lands of Golden Fire pre-orders start on the 24th of November. It'll release in January, and the Lands of Golden Fire cover the continent of Ifri, which is, if you play 7th Sea, not Africa. So you can now venture from not Europe to not Africa. And I'm particularly excited because I made a character that's from there and I don't have anything to go with, backstory wise. So right now she's very stoic and mysterious because she doesn't have things. Let's see, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, D&D product. It comes out in November. Oh, I date down.
We're back.
We're back from outer space.
For how long? I don't know.
And find us sitting here with this look upon our face.
Karaoke with Lindsey, y'all.
You can follow me on Twitter at dragonmomster.com. You can, or not .com, just at dragonmomster. And we can karaoke together. I'm also on Instagram that way. All right, real quick. As if Carrie Fisher's legacy was not badass enough. She...
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Oh, we're showing a good signal.
No, I'm just telling you, that's what it says. There we are. Okay.
Yeah, we're back. Kinda.
It was like...
I don't really know what's going on tonight. But,
Well, anyway, Carrie Fisher apparently sent a severed cow tongue to someone that assaulted one of her lady friends back in the day. So it's pretty badass.
have you speaking of like kinda sort of that topic,
Yeah, I thought that would be a good segue.
you hear about all that stuff about you're talking about the Kevin Smith thing, right?
Mr. Weinstein.
Yeah, that dude.
Have you heard his really awesomely lame excuse?
Now, huh?
No,
Mr.
I
Weinstein.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I really didn't even like look into it because I don't even care about him. But I mean, I wasn't even gonna give it the time of day.
well, I mean, the only reason I know about it was because it was part of reading up on what Kevin Smith had said and is doing and his position on it. But apparently, even though this is just the weakest of weak sauces, he's putting a lot of it on. It was the 60s and 70s, and the climate at work was much different than it is now, and the way people were treated and portrayed. Yes, things were different then, but regardless of whether or not it was socially acceptable, good men still went around not harassing and raping women.
Yeah, but this was like, even if you were to eliminate everything that he did, like let's say before 2000.
Yeah.
There was like an Italian actress who brought
he was
allegations.
like, I'm trying to be better. Like
stuff that happened in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
But the whole Kevin Smith thing. Now Kevin Smith, his early films were basically financed, like widespread distribution wise, because everybody knows he sold his comic book collection and like his car and all kinds of stuff to finance Clerks. But then once it got picked up, distribution wise, he made all that money. And Miramax, who this dude had basically it came from him. And so Kevin Smith now has felt guilty that his basically the whole first 10, 15 years of his career, including Clerks, Chasing Amy, Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, a bunch of other ones, were basically kind of sort of financed by this dude who is now brought up on all these allegations. And so all of the money that's coming from those movies now that he still gets residual checks from, royalties and stuff, he's donating to like charities.
Yeah,
and
specifically
he feels
the Women in Film is the charity that he's.
And he feels horribly guilty because of his early work is. But I'm like,
well, and it's not just that his early works were funded by that guy. It's also that for years he's been talking this guy up, saying, because he didn't know these things. He didn't know this aspect of that guy. He never had that presented to him.
But he had no way of knowing.
Yeah, exactly. So he's, he feels guilty for having talked this guy up all these years, and then it turns out he's a complete...
But think about this, though, okay? And I really hope I'm not shooting myself in the foot by saying this. But let's say somebody came up to me tomorrow, like this big... Like, let's say somebody in, like...
I feel like I need to have my hands free now.
Like, let's say somebody from, like, Marvel Comics came up to me and was like, hey, we're going to do, like, a full ride on your channel, and we're going to give you $25,000, open you up a studio, we're going to get you new equipment, we're going to do sound stuff, we're going to buy you a website, high tech, everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we go, we make it big, end up, pulling in millions of dollars a year. And then 10 years later, after I've expressed thanks for these people doing all this good stuff, suddenly the person who came up to us as part of Marvel is like a serial rapist and nobody knew about it. I wouldn't give all of my royalties back. I wouldn't feel like my work was any less because of where the money came from. Kevin Smith did that work. Who financed it? Like, I mean, I get where he's coming from, but he shouldn't feel obligated to basically have the first decade and a half of his career soiled because of the person who financed his films. He had nothing. He didn't know about the guy.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're trying to say here, but I think the difference is really he seems to have more of a community feel about the whole thing. So, yes, he benefited. Other people suffered during the same time. So he's basically just saying, okay, that was crappy. I hate that happened. I hate that I supported this guy and I didn't know this stuff about him. So to kind of help, offset the bad that was done, I'm going to use this to help make good going forward.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, if he didn't do this, the way the internet and society works, they would burn him at the stake for just because people hold others accountable where no accountability is needed these days.
But I don't think that's even part of his angle.
It isn't, but it would still happen.
Kevin, he's definitely a feminist. He's definitely raising his daughter to not take crap off of people, and he calls people on how they treat women and minorities and stuff. So I think this is just kind of an example of someone actually like putting their money where their mouth is, not literally. But he's really actually taking that money and paying it forward to help improve the situation for other people. He's not just, not just talking about how things should be better.
That is very true. And regardless, if he gives up all that money,
well, he even said if Miramax were to fold, he would personally still give like $2,000 or something like that a year to that charity.
Oh yeah, because
if continue it,
all this stuff going on, and even if he does give all the money to like his first 7 or 8 films to charity and everything, he still has his podcast, Comic Book Man, all of his new stuff. They're getting ready to do a Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He's not worrying about where the light bill money's coming from next month. But I mean, I do get where he's coming from. What he's doing is going to make a difference. But I'm just saying it's just,
You don't feel like he should feel guilty for his own success
Yeah.
because he wasn't.
I understand why he's
Guilty.
doing it, but I'm saying he doesn't have to.
Yeah. But I do think it's the right thing to do to come forward and say,
I mean, he has to distance himself.
violently disagree with these actions so much so that I want to not even touch the money that's coming in off of them because of their association with that man. That's a hard and fast stance to take.
But think about all the people who work for that company. Like, oh dear God, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if like let's say
How many of them got harassed or assaulted by him during
true,
that time? Who
but like
knows?
let's say you are you're doing something at Miramax and you really don't have anywhere else to go. Like, you're either working at Miramax making your $60,000-$70,000 a year, whatever it is, or you're going and bagging groceries for a living. At what point does that personal responsibility towards distancing yourself from that kind of horrible activity, you know, at what point do you need to give up your livelihood?
Well, that just depends. That's going to vary from person to person. Like how I mean, really, not everyone is passionate about equality and treating other humans like humans, and you know, making a self-sacrifice to.
I guess the better point of what I'm trying to make is.
But then there's other people that'll be like, yes, absolutely, I would rather bag groceries and barely get by than to associate myself with this garbage. So
Well,
I mean,
that was why I was
that's gonna
wondering,
go-
like, what if in the year 2000 Kevin Smith's career crashed and burned, and he was struggling right now, and the only money he was getting income wise was from those films? Would it still be?
I mean, just I don't know him personally, obviously, but
He almost seems like the kind of guy who would, though.
yeah, I feel like just based on what we do know about him, and he's very public, so
Yeah.
I feel like he would just be like, not touching it.
Have you heard the story about Jason Mewes, like how he helped him out? Like, Jason Mewes was like a heroin addict and all kinds of stuff, even to the point where he stole money and like credit cards and stuff from Kevin Smith and went and spent all kinds of money on drugs and this and that.
Yeah.
And Smith actually like got him checked into rehab, let him live with him, and like got him his own podcast and everything to try and tell that story and try to get it out
Yeah.
there, and basically gave him something to do. And like Jason Mewes, like to this day, this wasn't but what 7-8 years ago, but Jason Mewes to this day credits Kevin Smith with basically saving his life.
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
Smith didn't have to do that.
I think the moral of the story here is we should all be a little more Kevin Smith. All of us.
Hey, you know,
Be more
I've
Kevin.
actually, I will say he since day one, when I started watching his stuff, he has been an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was why I like totally freaked out and was all happy about being able to interview Brian O'Halloran at Wizard World. And if not for Kevin Smith, honestly, there's no telling if I would even be doing this right now.
He's
Because seeing him do his podcast and on Comic Book Man and stuff is one of the things that kind of pushed me in this direction to do this.
So I have just a real quick story. I have a friend who is a chef in Disney World at one of the fancy restaurants. I don't know which one. But she came to visit one time and was telling me about how this dude came in the kitchen, his brother worked there, and everybody was like flipping out and getting pictures with him, and she didn't have a clue who this guy was, but everybody's getting pictures, so she's like, I'll go get a picture with him. And so she has a picture with him, and so then she turns and shows me the picture, and yeah, there's my friend Carmen with Kevin Smith in a kitchen in Disney World. She had no clue who he was, and I was just like, I kind of hate you for not.
It's like about half the people we have over at the apartment see the picture of me and Stan Lee, and they're like,
Is that your grandpa?
yeah.
Remember Joseph asked if that was your dad before you met him?
Oh, God, yeah. That was like when y'all first moved in with it. Yeah. Joseph was like, is that you and your dad?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. It was funny because he asked his friends online one night if they knew Stan Lee, and nobody had any clue. You know, a bunch of 10-year-old kids had no Freaking clue who Stan Lee is.
YouTubing on my account, and I was just curious. I was like, well, I wonder what he's been up to, and I was watching it, and they were whispering number one, which let me know it was like probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like, that person was like, what's all that behind you? He's like, do you know Stan Lee and stuff? He's like, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a fun little experiment. We've got 4 teenagers between us, the fella and I. And so the Fonz was brought up somehow, and one of his kids was like, who's the Fonz? And I was like, what have you monster, what have you done to your children? And the other kid was like, I don't know who it is. So I didn't have mine with me, so I sent Fletch a text. I was like, hey, do you know who the Fonz is? And he immediately replies back, like, he's the one that jumped the shark, right? And I was like, see, my kids, I taught them well. But then we get home, and Owen's like, who? I was like, ah! So one out of 4 teenagers knows who the Fonz is. That's sad.
I want to do like one
I
of
have
those.
also failed the world.
We need to like do like this experiment, you see on YouTube where like kids anywhere from like 10, 17 in that range play like old Nintendo games for the first time.
Oh yeah.
The ones that the Nintendo games that were made to eat quarters, the ones that are like, harder than lead.
Yeah.
Like get them on there and do like a little experiment. Like I actually seen there was one where they did Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and the kids that were playing it were like getting knocked out in the first round of the first guy to play. They had no clue how to do anything.
I know I watched one where they had like the little cheap handheld games. They weren't cheap for us, but they're cheap now. The little.
Are you talking about those Tiger Electronics?
Yeah, that one. And at first the kids were like, "This is dumb. I hate this." And then like a couple minutes in, they're like, "I can't stop. I can't. What? I'm gonna win. I die."
You know what? They were talking. They've got the Nintendo Classic, Super Nintendo Classic.
The classic.
Just
classic
in the past
light.
week or two, they're talking about putting out a Game Boy now with like 40 or 50 Game Boy games put on it.
Okay, normally I don't care, but I could get behind a Game Boy.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering, why not
with
a little nonsense Tiger Electronic game that has an actual screen but has
I feel like
the
you
little.
can still get kind of those type things at like Dollar General or something. Kind of. I mean, they're not really like Tiger games.
You remember we saw a video about them. They had like video games on they even had a Full House video game. It's like,
well, it's all about branding. Just
you do Fuller House now.
Yeah.
It could be just as horrible as the first one.
I tried to watch that.
Well, I can't stand it.
I can't get into it at all.
I liked Full House, and I could still turn it on and enjoy it. But that Fuller House.
He's like, it's just as cheesy as it was. I'm like, it's supposed to be. It's Fuller House.
Well, see, what it is it was
that
like.
was as awkward as when we were watching it the other day while you were in the shower, and I had to explain to Joseph what a hickey was. That was fun.
It was like.
It's a teachable moment. It's always good to educate your children about things in a nice organic way, so you're not having to sit them down with a biology textbook and go, "This is what went wrong."
This is what went wrong.
Sorry, college is no longer an option for you. So it's good to have the moments before that.
Well, here's what kind of bothered me. The original Full House, you had the dad and all the uncles, and they were cool, and
fun.
Uncle Jesse, Uncle Joey, they were fun, and then you had like the little girls who were a lot younger than me, and then like I didn't really have anybody to relate to besides the older guys in that show. Well, now the show is like all the girls, but there's not like a dude to be seen. It's basically a woman sitcom, and I have nothing to relate to in that show whatsoever.
Well, as a single mother, I have to say I don't have a lot that I can relate to on that. It's like the most like rose-colored glasses.
I will say that.
Hallmark, just glossy. Like this is what it's like to be a single mother. No, it's
2 friends living with you helping you.
That's not how it works.
If you want to watch something that is realistic, good news, because Roseanne's coming back on next year.
That's me.
I was raised by Roseanne. My mom went to like nursing school or something. I don't know what happened. So it was like me, and I took care of my siblings. So yeah, Roseanne and Peg Bundy were my moms.
That's great.
That's
I'm really
where the
big.
world went wrong.
I'm really big on Roseanne. I love Roseanne. Was probably my favorite like sitcom growing up.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Because
until that weird last season. What happened there?
Yeah. Last season was kind of strange, but a lot of last seasons are kind of strange.
Well, it's like even Married with Children, got really over the top there for a while, and like Roseanne, if you take away the last season, speaking of, they're acting like that didn't even happen.
They should, yes. That's a good choice.
But I'm hoping they get the cast from the dude from The Big Bang Theory who played David, and I don't know if they finalized that yet or not. But yeah, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to that. And then also next year, the X-Files season 11's coming on, so I really can't wait for that because I always had like such the biggest crush on Scully. Yeah.
We're knee deep into October now, so we're like 2-ish weeks away from Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
Yes.
I haven't looked at a poster or a trailer, nothing. I want to be completely just like.
Really? You've not even watched the trailer for it?
I want to be. I want to just.
But I mean, it wouldn't really.
I don't want to.
Another trailer just came out.
Yeah,
it wasn't
I know.
as good as the first trailer.
But I'm like super smart and clever and stuff, and I'd probably pick up on something and ruin it for myself. Not really. I just don't want any kind of spoiler. Just nothing. I don't.
I'll say just.
I am really.
I'm not even saying anything.
Nothing.
But the first trailer got me pumped. So
I just had to know it was happening to get like pumped. So I'm good. I'm solid. I'm glad that they're doing all the promotional things. It's cool, but just knowing that it's happening, it's there, it's waiting, it's within reach almost. So that's actually probably how I'm going to be spending my Halloween.
You saw it, didn't you?
No.
You didn't? One of the kids from Stranger Things is in it.
Yeah, I don't really do scary movies.
But you're doing Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
It's adventure.
It's really not.
It's adventure. Sci-fi. Yeah, it's like sci-fi fantasy.
Well,
with
honest,
thriller-ish.
I mean, it had some jump scares, but
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah.
It was more suspenseful than anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went way off. Do we have anything? Like it seems like we're missing a story.
Well, you really wanted to talk about Kevin Smith, and we really talked about Kevin Smith.
We did.
All right, and we talked about oh yeah, okay.
Oh dear God.
Here we go. This one's fun.
Like the entire chat's been nothing but Amber Bet and legacy tokens.
I know, there ain't nobody here.
We're a movie executive team, right? We're gonna put a new movie out. Everybody's really excited. People have wanted this movie forever. We've got to come up with just like the name that will just strike inspiration into the minds of our workers and really just pull at the heartstrings of the fans. We gotta get real creative.
I'm gonna go on record. I'm gonna go on record as saying that the name for the new Star Wars movie, I came up with it like 2 days because they said they were gonna announce it the next couple of days, and I was like, "There's nothing else that could be called besides Solo." Now, granted, they did add a Star Wars story at the end of it, which is apparently they're gonna say a Star Wars story after every episode. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Solo, a Star Wars story.
So yeah,
I think they're doing
really dug deep on that one, and
I think the next one they're doing is maybe like a Boba Fett movie.
It was a joke at first, and then I realized they were serious.
I mean, it is.
They're doing Boba Fett next time, so it's going to end up being
what it is. I mean, there's no question about what that movie is about.
Yeah,
at all.
The next one is going to be Fett, a Star Wars story.
A genie.
They, if they would pay me like $75,000, I could come up with movies and promotional. It's not that difficult.
Yeah. Leia, a Star Wars.
Like I'm kind of like episode 9. Okay, we've got episode The Force Awakens is 7. Then 8 is The Last Jedi.
The Force's Adderall wore off.
And then the last one, episode 9, will be something like
the last one, a Star Wars story. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, it's not going to be the last one.
In a world.
It's not going to be the last one. I guarantee that. They're going to make
One
a
of
movie
many.
a year until people quit watching.
Yeah.
Which you would think, whenever I first... Okay, Star Wars movies. Is Burnout coming? A movie a year?
Only if the quality starts slipping. As long as they maintain that altitude that they've got right now, which I don't know. Maybe that's why they can't come up with clever names, because they're busy making good content. I don't know.
Well, like for me, Rogue One, I found Rogue One was like a 6.5 out of 10 movie.
Really?
But then the last 10 minutes of it launched it into like 9 territory.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I enjoyed the whole movie, and
I did.
The end was fantastic, I thought.
It had some really sweet eye candy, some good references, but the last 10 minutes made that movie.
Yeah. But
A lot of movies are like that, though.
probably if they keep up with a movie a year, it is going to eventually be like, oh, it's another Star Wars story. Just because,
People are not going to be as excited.
yeah, you're going to get used to it. Like,
Well-
right now we're excited because, good God, it's been 30 years since we've had good Star Wars movies.
Because eventually in like 2023, it'll be like that little gremlin looking thing that was on Jabba the Hutt's lap, a Star Wars story. You know, like that little, you know, that little creepy little gremlin with hair.
Yeah, what was that thing called?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Don't really matter to me.
Viewers, Google it.
He's getting his own movie.
Yeah. The bikini's going to get its own movie.
Or the woman that fell into the Rancor pit, you know, that they killed.
Yeah. She needs her own movie.
Yeah.
She has a story.
Everybody has a story.
We're apparently going to explore them all.
Just because somebody has a story don't mean you want to hear it.
Yeah, like the people at Disney's like, you know what? We've got like 35,000 Star Wars characters. There is no shortage of movie ideas here.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, all the books. Good Lord, they could pull story stuff forever.
Well, they were thinking about doing an Obi-Wan origin movie, and I'm like, if they do not bring Ewan McGregor in for that movie, disgrace.
Oh yeah, but they'd have to have a different actor for when he was younger.
No.
Well, you can't play it.
Look, if they can make a
Benjamin
young
Button?
Princess Leia,
Oh, okay.
they can take 5 years. No, they don't have to, because think about it. Ewan McGregor, like looking at him now, I mean, he's what?
He's more or less ageless.
in his
I
40s
mean,
or
he
so.
still looks the same as he did when he was like 20. So
Yeah, he was in like his late 20s,
But I meant,
early
like,
30s
yeah.
during that movie. So, I mean, he's what, age 10, 15 years? And he's like the perfect age right now to show what he was doing between The Fall of the Jedi and Episode 4.
I like to imagine that he was not doing much at all. It was like just being a little beggar guy.
Either that or he was being a creeper, like up on the hill watching Luke. Make sure
What a
he's all right.
boring movie that would be.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that old man again. God. Somebody do something about that. Call the police.
I want to see like the fan theory put on film that Boba Fett was actually the one that killed Luke's aunt and uncle.
I haven't heard that theory. Or
Yeah,
read it,
Boba
rather.
Fett went, like, basically Darth Vader put out a hit, you know, was like trying to track everybody down, or trying to track Luke down, and like, I can't remember where it was, but it was one of the newer Darth Vader comics. Basically, he finds out between episodes 4 and 5 that Luke is his son, and but he was looking for, I can't remember exactly what it was, but something had happened during episode, like before episode 4, and he sent a bounty hunter to like Tatooine, and when Boba Fett got down there, he killed Luke's aunt and uncle. Oh, looking for the plans.
Oh.
And so Boba Fett went down and,
As one would do,
and
yeah.
kills them. And if you notice, I think it's
If I
like,
don't find what I'm looking for, I murder and burn things too.
well, during The Empire Strikes Back, there's a part where Darth Vader is face to face with Boba Fett, and he basically looks directly at Boba Fett, points at him, and says, "No disintegrations this time." And so everybody takes that as, yep, he kind of made Vader mad by killing his aunt and uncle. Or his, what?
Step brother
Sister or
and
brother or something.
step brother and
I don't know.
sister-in-law.
No?
Something.
Yeah, because his mom married.
Yes,
a
okay.
dude.
I was kind of messing up on the family tree there, but yes. Okay.
Have you ever watched? There's 3 YouTube videos. What if episode 1 had been good? What if episode 2 had been good?
I think episodes 1, 2, and 3 were all great. I'm not one of those that hates it.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. But the story that the guy lays out in those 3 YouTube videos are superior.
I may have to check it out.
stories.
But I also just realized it's 7:45 and we're running late.
Well, we started late.
So I didn't say anything. I've been watching
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hungry. I gotta have dinner, and I have to work tomorrow. Something else.
Adults.
Gotta go
That's
do
it.
adult thing. I mean, my kids are lurking. Look at them lurking. Lurking.
Mine's outside.
That one's. Did you hear that?
Anyway, anything
Part
further
raptor.
you would like to add as a closing thought, last minute? Da 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 da.
Oh. No, not really. I'm sorry. I don't. Be more Kevin.
That's like going to end up being the title of the episode. Is Be More Kevin.
Yep.
And
And follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Dungeon Momster.
yay.
Well, we can talk D&D stuff.
The next major thing, I think we may end up streaming some kind of video game tomorrow night. Saturday? What's going on Saturday? We had some kind of plan, didn't we?
Bale,
I'll play a game.
Boom! See, I keep forgetting about that.
And
get-
then Sunday's Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I get to play a really cool game on Saturday. My friend Tony, we're doing a game. It's a fate-based system, which is
Okay.
it's a different rule set. Anyway, Army of Darkness versus Six Flags Over Georgia. And we got to pick what characters we're going to be, and we're going to fight the Army of Darkness at Six Flags. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Awesome.
That actually has the potential to be like one of the best things ever.
I'll see if I can record some of it for you.
Yeah, that would actually be interesting. I would like to see some of this stuff in action.
It's gonna be cool.
Next, tomorrow night, we're going to have some kind of video game stream. I literally did 6.5 hours of Skyrim today, so I'm not sure if Amber's going to let me do Skyrim tomorrow night, too. And so we got that. Saturday night, we're going to have a live interview with Neil Beowulf, who is like a streamer who I'm kind of like his protege. He's one of those established people that has kind of showed
He's
me.
the one that gave us the 360.
Yeah, he's the one that gave us the 360. He's the one that's shown us how to do these legacy token rewards points for everybody watching. I've taken a lot of neat ideas from him. He also did all of our graphics,
Yes.
our logos and stuff. So, like, we owe him a debt of gratitude
Thank you, Sarah.
for getting. And we're actually he's been like bugging me for like 6 months now. When are you going to interview some streamers? And I was like, you know what? It would only be appropriate if you're the first one.
That's
So Saturday night we're going to be streaming a live interview with him. Sunday night, right after The Walking Dead goes off, we're going to be doing Spoiling Dead with me, Amber. Is Sarah going to be there?
No.
She won't be. Boo!
She's not caught up. Well, I mean,
Oh yeah, she's not
So-
caught up yet.
TwitchCon is this weekend. If there's anybody that watches Twitch things out there, there should be a lot of cool content this weekend while TwitchCon is going on.
Holy crap!
neat. I
Okay,
didn't know that was a thing.
so it's going to be a busy weekend.
Ah.
All right, well we're going to go ahead and call it a night. We'll see everyone tomorrow
Good night.
night
Be
during a
more
video
Kevin.
game stream.
Be more Kevin. And bye.
Anyway, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Lindsay.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network. This has been UNN Live from Infinity
Live.
Flux in Hickson, Tennessee. And myself and Amber, anyway, we'll see everybody tomorrow night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and I guess you'll be seeing Lindsay in 2 weeks.
Yeah.